So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. Just give me a minute, I will be uploading the PDF for today's session. Here we are connected live. The PDF for today's session will be available. It has been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download it from there. You can download the PDF for today's session from our Telegram group. Mohit, Ajay, Yamandeep, Sukhpreet, Sangram, Nisar, Vivek, Dr. Pretty, Pranjal, Vivek, Jashanpreet, Palash, Avatar, Rajeshwari, Shiv, Aisha, good morning. So good morning everyone. So here we are starting this particular session. As you can see on the screen, we will be starting from this particular quotation quote by none other than Swami Vivekananda. Okay. So he says that he who struggles is better than he who never attempts. This is what he is saying. He is saying that it is really very important that we struggle in our life. We should never, think about the result that we are going to get. Whether we will be able to achieve our goals or not, whether we will be able to get the result that we want, that is not significant. It is important that your struggle is more significant, that we need to focus on our struggle. And one thing is for sure, the most important decision is the first decision, that is whether you will be attempting or not. पहला डिसीजन सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आप किसी भी चीज को अटेम्प्ट करोगे कि नहीं करोगे. Yes, we do agree. You are preparing for UPSC. Your friends who are not preparing for UPSC, they might be chilling at their home. But you have made that attempt. That's the important factor here. You have the spine to appear in this particular exam, which is going to be very tough. It is not going to be easy. It is one of the toughest exam in the whole world. You will find that in this struggle that you are going to have in UPSC preparation, you will evolve yourself. Okay, you will evolve yourself. You will be better than others. You will be evolved human being. This is what struggle brings to us. हमारी एबिलिटी को इंक्रीज कर देती है स्ट्रगल. एंड दिस इज हाउ इन दिस वे वी आर बेटर देन दोज हु आर नॉट गोइंग टू अटेम्प्ट इट, जो सिर्फ बात करते हैं और अटेम्प्ट नहीं करते हैं. सो वी विल ऑलवेज बी बेटर देन दोज पर्टिकुलर पीपल. So this is the message that we have from Swami Vivekananda, that we should never care about struggles. Struggles are going to be there in our life. Okay, we should not be fearful of them, because anyways we will be better than those who are not going to attempt it in their life. जो सिर्फ बात करते हैं, जिनकी इच्छा होती है बट वो उसको आगे नहीं लेके जा सकते. ओके, दे मे बी हैविंग द डिजायर टू डू समथिंग बट they may not be having the courage to attempt that. This is the important point here. So as you are struggling, it means you have the courage to move out of your comfort zone. आप अपने comfort zone से बाहर आना चाहते हो, ये आप में एक courage है. This is the important thing that you have to understand. Okay, that's why those who struggle, they are always better than those who are not going to do any attempt. This is the point you have to understand. So we'll move to the next part, and here on this particular page there are some news. Now there is some news that has been reported that in Sri Lanka the violence is increasing. Okay, see, this is how you have to understand. That's why we say that economic prosperity is important. Economic prosperity is really very important in the sense that, because here people they have some aspiration, okay, जनता की कुछ aspiration होती हैं, they have some expectations, they have some expectations from the rulers I am saying here bureaucracy and your political class. Now if they are not able to deliver, if they are not able to deliver, then these aspirations and expectations they turn into anger, and this is what is happening in Sri Lanka right now, okay, because people are struggling, they don't have the, you can say, gas cylinder, उनके पास गैस सिलेंडर नहीं है, they do, their employment has already gone because the situation of economy is not good in Sri Lanka, and that's the major crisis. So yesterday it was also, you can say, reported that house of the Prime Minister Rajapaksa that was set on fire, ghar jala diya. This is how it is, okay, and this also shows that if there is inequality, if there is inequality, that people, some of them are having big, you can say, houses, कुछ लोगों के घर बहुत बड़े हैं, and counter to that there are people who are struggling to, you can say, get 3 times meal, ऐसी हालत है तो उस केस में वायलेंस हो सकता है, ओके, नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का थ्रेट हो सकता है. दिस इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Now this is the lesson that we are learning. So in India's scenario, we always say that we have large number of youth in India, okay. आप क्या सीखना चाहते हो? Like India, we Prime Minister talks about demographic dividend, okay. Prime Minister talks about demographic dividend, and he says that we are the youthful nation, okay. Youthful nation है हमारा यहाँ पे. It means that we have good number of people who are in the, you can say, working age, जो अभी काम करना चाहते हैं, ठीक है ना. बहुत से लोग हैं जो working age के कैटेगरी में आते हैं, okay. So in this scenario, when you have lot of people who are in the working age, we talk about demographic dividend, okay, but if we are not able to provide them with employment opportunities, अगर हम उन्हें एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं दे पाएंगे, दैट कैन टर्न इनटू अ डिजास्टर, ओके. सो योर डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड कैन टर्न इनटू अ डिजास्टर बिकॉज द गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट एबल टू प्रोवाइड देम विद द एस्पिरेशंस दैट दे हैव. जिस बेस पे आप वोट देते हो, अगर वो एस्पिरेशन पूरी नहीं होगी, लोगों में गुस्सा आ जाएगा. In this way it is going to be a disaster. There will be more demands for reservation को लेके demand बढ़ेगी, okay. So in this way it can create crisis like situation. So this is what we have to learn from Sri Lanka. वहाँ पे ये type की situation बनी हुई है, okay. So this is the point that is there. Rupee hits a new low amid the dollar outflow, okay. So this is what is going on, and this was bound to happen कि भी investment जो है वो वापस यूएस में होगा ही होगा, ओके, बिकॉज द फेडरल रिजर्व हैज आल्सो डिसाइडेड टू इंक्रीज द इंटरेस्ट रेट. उन्होंने भी वहाँ पे इंटरेस्ट रेट हाइक कर दिया है, ओके. दिस इज द सिचुएशन दैट इज देयर. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, लाइक देयर इज nothing much on this particular page, okay. So we'll move to this particular part now. Asani set to weaken near the Odisha coast, okay. So this information is regarding the tropical cyclone. See, when you talk about tropical cyclone, one thing should be clear to you: Indian bureaucracy, okay, it is really very competent to handle the crisis like situation. तो अगर crisis like situation आती है तो उसको हमारी bureaucracies बहुत अच्छे से handle करती है, okay. So it has been proven multiple times. Apart from that, let's look into the exam relevant thing. So this is your mains 2017 question, okay. आप ये मेंस का 2017 क्वेश्चन देखिए. The question was asked in your GS paper 3. This question is talking about one of the disaster. It is talking about tsunami, and then it is saying that in the light of guidelines of NDMA, okay, in the light of guidelines of NDMA, that is National Disaster Management Authority, describe the mechanisms for preparedness to reduce the risk during the event. Now the point is this: I can rephrase the question and I can say that, like, what NDMA has said regarding the cyclones, क्योंकि अगर सुनामी के ऊपर गाइडलाइंस का सवाल यूपीएससी पूछ सकती है, सो आई एम सेइंग दैट द सेम गाइडलाइन ऑल्सो एग्जिस्ट फॉर साइक्लोन्स एज वेल. हाउ डू वी हैंडल द साइक्लोन, ऐसी ही गाइडलाइन साइक्लोन के लिए भी एग्जिस्ट करती है. सो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी नीड टू नो व्हाट एनडीएमए हैज सेड अबाउट हाउ टू हैंडल द साइक्लोन. This is what we are going to cover, वो हम आज देखेंगे. Okay, so first important thing is that there are some influential factors that are there that influence the formation of cyclone. Okay, तो इस चीज को लेके हमें थोड़ी clarity होनी चाहिए. Now first thing, it is saying that the you can say temperature, it should be greater than 27 degrees Celsius. Okay, minimum amount of temperature that is required is 27 degrees Celsius, or it can go beyond that, no issues. Okay, other point, it is saying that winds near the ocean surface blowing from different directions, they need to converge. वहां पे convergence होना चाहिए. Okay, and as there will be convergence, there will be rise of air as well. So air to rise and storm clouds to form, these are also the additional conditions that are there. These are also the additional conditions that are there. Okay, so rise of air need to be there, ठीक है ना, convergence of winds need to be there. This is the point that is there. Another angle that they want is this: winds which do not vary greatly with height, known as low wind shear. This allows the storm cloud to rise vertically to high levels. Okay, so ये भी चीज यहाँ पे allowed है, ये भी चीज यहाँ पे डिमांड है, ठीक है ना. So another point is that sufficient distance from the equator to provide spin and twist. Now, क्यों चाहिए ये sufficient distance from the equator? Because of the Coriolis force. We want Coriolis force to be there. And as we move away from equator, the Coriolis force, the effect of Coriolis force also increases. This is what we want. Okay, this is what we want. And there need to be divergent circulation in the upper troposphere. So all these are the required conditions. And when you talk about the cyclone, so tropical cyclone has this type of structure. Here at the center there will be eye of the cyclone. Okay, the air will be subsiding. eye के अंदर air ऊपर से नीचे आ रही है. Just next to eye there will be eye wall, and there the air will be rising. वहां पे हवा आपको rise करती हुई नजर आएगी. Okay, so this is how the structure of cyclone exists. Apart from that, and when the cyclone is approaching the coast, जब cyclone coast को approach करेगा, first of all eye wall will impact. This side of eye wall, it will have impact. It means that this eye wall area, there are heavy rains, high speed winds, काफ़ी ज़्यादा बारिश होगी, काफ़ी ज़्यादा एक तरीके से स्पीड जो है विंड्स की काफ़ी फास्ट होती है. सो व्हेन इट इज़ अप्रोचिंग, देयर विल बी कंप्लीट डिजास्टर. देन देयर विल बी अ पॉज. उसके बाद थोड़ी शांति आ जाती है, बिकॉज आफ्टर द आई वॉल द आई विल अप्रीच. ओके, आई वॉल के बाद आई आती है, and then in that eye the speed of wind is going to be less, rains might not be there, and just after eye again there will be increase in speed of the winds, again there will be increase in the volume of the water in rains. क्यों? क्योंकि next eye wall आपकी टकराएगी. Okay, next eye wall आपकी टकराएगी. So these are some of the factual things that we need to know regarding the cyclone. ये चीज हमें मालूम होनी चाहिए cyclone के बारे में. Okay, so let's discuss what NDMA has come out with as guidelines of management of cyclone, कि हम साइक्लोन को कैसे मैनेज कर सकते हैं. ओके, इट हैज इट्स यूटिलिटी इन योर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, यू कैन से टॉपिक इन योर जीएस पेपर 3. जीएस पेपर 3 के अंदर सवाल आपसे पूछा जा सकता है. ओके, सो देयर आर सम गाइडलाइंस दैट आर देयर. फर्स्ट थिंग, द एनडीएमए हैज सेड दैट वी नीड टू हैव अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम. इफ पीपल आर अलर्ट, अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम क्या करेगी? लोगों को अलर्ट कर देगी. ओके, इफ पीपल आर अलर्ट दे विल बी एबल टू हैंडल देमसेल्व्स. इफ योर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इज एक्टिव, वो खुद ब खुद अपने आप को संभाल लेंगे. सो प्रायर इंफॉर्मेशन इज रियली वेरी क्रिटिकल, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी से दैट अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम नीड्स टू बी एस्टैब्लिश्ड. ओके, फॉर एस्टैब्लिशिंग अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम you have to have a communication network, satellite communication. Those things are also required. Next, it is talking about aircraft probing of cyclone facility. Okay, so government have to invest in this. यहाँ पे invest करना जरूरी है. Like you need to have aircraft facility जो कि काफी हाइट पे जाके साइक्लोन को अंडरस्टैंड कर सके, साइक्लोन को स्टडी कर सके, दैट एट विच स्पीड साइक्लोन इज अप्रोचिंग, व्हाट आर द, यू कैन से, the percentage of water vapor that is there in cyclone, क्या heavy water रखा हुआ है cyclone में कि बारिश ज़्यादा होगी कम होगी, those things are to be studied. Okay, those things are to be studied, and for that you need to have a aircraft probing of cyclone. Next, it is saying we need to have national disaster communication infrastructure. Okay, you need to have high-end computing satellite system that we have to establish. Then for coming out with say modeling, जब आप मॉडल बनाना चाहते हो, so 3D virtual reality visual studio need to be there. Okay, so that you can get the clear models how the cyclone is approaching, how dangerous the cyclone is. Then you need to have a centralized comprehensive data bank for cyclone risk management where best practices can be recorded. Future में जो officials आएंगे, how to handle cyclone, those things can be added to that database. Okay, this is what is required. Then structural safety is really very critical. Okay, so whatever is the critical infrastructure that we have, अब critical infrastructure की बात करें, so you have to make sure that that critical infrastructure, say highways, roads, power lines, okay, they are cyclone resilient, कि उनके अंदर इतनी ability हो कि वो cyclone को झेल जाएं. Cyclone resilient होना चाहिए. This is the required thing. You need to establish robust system of locating multi-purpose cyclone shelters. Cyclone shelters also have to be built because there are people who are living in low-lying areas. बहुत सी जनता जो है low-lying areas में रहती है, slums में रहती है. Okay, they are most vulnerable. वो सबसे ज़्यादा vulnerable है. So for them you need to have a multi-purpose cyclone shelters which are already in existence. Okay, वो already exist करते हो, and people also they should have this information that if when there is a crisis situation, if the cyclone is approaching, लोग खुद ब खुद उस multipurpose shelter में चले जाएं. This is the point. Then we need to ensure the cyclone resistant design standards, so these things are incorporated in the urban and rural housing scheme, specifically in the coastal areas. Okay, this is what is required. All weather roads that are to be established, वो चीज़ चाहिए ताकि connectivity हट ना जाए, so that even if the help is required, the mobility of that help really should be at a pace. अगर आपको आर्मी बुलानी है या कोई और हेल्प चाहिए तो भी वो पेस पे होना चाहिए. So if road infrastructure is not good, definitely the additional help can be impacted. Next is maintaining the full designed carrying capacity of main drains. Okay, so with cyclone we have seen flooding can also take place. So your drainage system needs to be really very good. It should be in a good shape. वो चीज़ आपको यहाँ पे maintain करनी है. Then you have to bring the public private partnership. This is what we have to do. We need to have a clear mapping about a particular area, about different coastal zones. Okay, so that you can prepare in advance. You need to have, you can say, bioshield. Bioshield के अंदर आप क्या करते हो? You need to have a, you can say, layers of trees. बायोशील्ड की जब हम बात करते हैं, इसका मतलब है आपको बहुत सारे ट्रीज की लेयर्स लगानी पड़ेंगी. या यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट इन कोस्टल एरियाज मैंग्रोव्स आपके अच्छे से बने हुए हो, मैंग्रोव्स फॉरेस्ट जो है वो अच्छा खासा हो. दिस इज व्हाट वी वांट, दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टू डू. दिस इज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ बायोशील्ड. ओके, सो ये सारी चीजें आपको करनी है. Then you have to make sure that the ecological restoration plans are existing, because we have seen multiple times the river flood plains. Okay, अब river flood plain के ऊपर जो है आप construction कर देते हो, so you have to make sure that those things are to be removed. Then you have to work on fresh water recharge management. Okay, because if there is a flood अगर आ गया तो पानी को ग्राउंड वाटर के अंदर नीचे तक लेके जाना पड़ेगा. ओके, दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर. तो उसके लिए रिचार्ज मैनेजमेंट का प्रॉपर सिस्टम होना चाहिए. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर रिक्वायर्ड. दिस इज व्हाट योर एनडीएमए इज सजेस्टिंग. This is what your NDMA is suggesting. So this is what we need to know here. So directly we'll move to the editorial section. सीधा editorial section पे जाते हैं. So let's see what this editorial is pointing towards. Okay, so definitely the major power crisis is going on in the country, and one of the factor is that the coal is not available. Okay, so here we are powering up after the power crisis shock. Okay, so there are some factual things that are there. Now definitely reasons for this power crisis. Okay, power crisis का reason क्या है? What are the reasons that are there? So you need to understand one thing is this, I have already explained it, Ukraine Russia war. Okay, why this is a crisis? Because earlier Russia was providing gas to the European countries. Okay, now this gas supply is not there, so European countries, they are ordering coal in large number. They are placing orders for coal in large number. That has led to the increase in coal prices. Okay, world over there is a shortage and prices have increased. So right now, like, prices have increased to 4 times. 4 गुना एक तरीके से बढ़ गया है if you compare it from say 2020 level. Okay, this is the present scenario right now. This is one of the reason. Other reason, you need to understand the demand for electricity has also increased. Okay, the demand for electricity, like, it has also increased. Why? Because it is the post COVID recovery. You can say industrial units are working fine, post COVID recovery is really very fast. Okay, you are recovering at a high pace, आपकी रिकवरी अच्छी हो रही है, इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट अच्छे से चल रहे हैं. दिस इज द रीजन वाई द डिमांड इज इंक्रीजिंग. यहाँ पे डिमांड इंक्रीज हो गया, एंड व्हेन द डिमांड इज इंक्रीजिंग, somehow it is appearing that the power projection, okay, the demand power projection, दैट इज नॉट राइट. जो आपके डिस्कॉम्स हैं, जितना पावर प्रोजेक्शन डिमांड का उनको करना चाहिए था, सो दैट हैज बीन रॉन्ग. ओके, दैट हैज बीन रॉन्ग. इट मीन्स दैट यू हैव नॉट मेक एन अरेंजमेंट इन एडवांस. आपने एडवांस में कोल का अरेंजमेंट बनाया ही नहीं. ओके, आप सो रहे थे. ठीक है ना. ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स लेड टू दिस पर्टिकुलर क्राइसिस. वहां से एक क्राइसिस आता है. अनदर रीजन ऑल्सो आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट दिस पॉइंट, because of the coal scam that has happened. Okay, coal scam has happened. The private sector, the mines that the private sector has, they are not functioning. Okay, private sector mining is not taking place because of the restrictions that are imposed by the Supreme Court. This is also one of the reason. So this is the collective thing which led to this particular crisis, जो कि आपको समझना होगा. Okay, now in this editorial they are suggesting some of the, you can say, ideas what need to be done. So definitely they are also emphasizing on growth projections, on supply arrangements, that okay, you need to have a right growth projection. If the growth projection is right, definitely you will be able to do the right preparation. Okay, आप जो है उसके लिए right preparation कर पाओगे in advance. This is what they have told. Now it is saying that there are different things which led to this crisis. One thing is that your departments, electricity departments, they were sleeping. Okay, वो सो रहे थे. Why they were sleeping? Because it was there in our mind that we have surplus capacity, कि भी हमारी capacity तो surplus है, India cannot have a power shortage, this and that. This is what your electricity minister used to say. Okay, but definitely अब एकदम से crisis आ गया. Now you need to understand, I told you about economic recovery, robust economic recovery. This is also one of the reason. Okay, because it has led to the increase in demand. एकदम से demand increase हो गया. This is one point. Other thing is that we know how these distribution companies, they are known for poor governance. आप जितनी भी सरकारी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज को देख लीजिए, दे आर नोन फॉर पुअर गवर्नेंस. ओके, स्पेसिफिकली द स्टेट ओन्ड. जो स्टेट ओन्ड है वो वाकई उनकी हालत खराब होती है बिकॉज ऑफ द पुअर प्रैक्टिसेस दैट आर कैरिड आउट बाय देम. दिस इज द पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द फैक्टर. That your discoms, they are not in good shape. Already they are under crisis, they are under pressure. कहाँ से वो सही प्रोजेक्शन करेंगे? This is the point. Then look at the present situation. Income is increasing. Okay, in India the income is increasing. It means that affordability of air conditions are also increased. It means that in future as well the peak demand is also going to increase. आपके यहाँ पे भविष्य में जो peak demand है वो भी increase होने वाली है, and you have to do the right projection. Okay, so here we are going to have seasonal peaks. Specifically in the summer days, you need to provide, you can say, more electricity as people are going to use air conditioners. Heavy electricity यहाँ पे एक तरीके से बढ़ जाता है. आपका household जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंजम्पशन है वो एकदम इंक्रीज हो जाता है. पीपल आर गोइंग टू यूज रेफ्रिजरेटर्स, वो रेफ्रिजरेटर यूज करेंगे. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव अ राइट डिमांड ग्रोथ प्रोजेक्शंस, दैट इन फ्यूचर एट विच पर्टिकुलर रेट द डिमांड फॉर द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज. This will be linked to the increase in the income as well, as there will be more people with having more income in their hands. They will definitely opt for the better living standards, और उसके बाद वो AC लगाएंगे अपने घर. ओके, अच्छे इलेक्ट्रिकल इक्विपमेंट्स लगाएंगे अपने घर. सो दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. दिस इज व्हाट इट इज गोइंग टू बी. ओके, right now other important aspect that they are coming out with is that we need to impose the financial penalty if the contract is not fulfilled. Okay, because in this scenario, take example, discom is just the distributor. डिस्कॉम सिर्फ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है. डिस्कॉम के पास पीछे से पावर सप्लाई आती है. हु इज गोइंग टू मेक एन अरेंजमेंट? कोल इंडिया, विच हैज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू प्रोवाइड कोल, along with the Indian Railways, which has the responsibility to transport that coal. So if they are not doing their duty on time, if the Coal India is not going to mine the coal on time, and later Indian Railways is not able to deliver the coal on time, there need to be some financial penalties. इनके ऊपर भी फाइनेंशियल पेनल्टीज लगनी चाहिए. ओके, सो दे शुड हैव इंक्रीज्ड. अगर इनको पहले एडवांस में बता दिया गया है कि भी द पावर प्रोजेक्शन इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज, ओके, डिमांड इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज, do something. If this information is already being floated in advance and still they are not able to provide the coal on time, definitely some action has to be taken. कुछ पेनल्टी तो इनके ऊपर लगानी चाहिए. ओके, दिस इज द पॉइंट. Another angle is that we need to work on the subsidies that are given to farmers, because it has been reported there is lot of wastage that takes place, okay, as the subsidy is given. So we need to reduce these subsidies. This is also really very important, as reducing these subsidies, it will help discoms to improve their financial health. जो आपके डिस्कॉम्स हैं उनकी फाइनेंशियल हेल्थ यहां से इंप्रूव होगी. ओके, इफ वी रियली वांट टू डू दीज थिंग्स, सो जो सब्सिडीज दी जाती हैं फार्मर्स को, दैट हैव टू बी रिवैम्प्ड. सो दीज आर द सजेशंस दैट आर देयर. Now we'll move to the next editorial. So here we have this next editorial. It is talking about India-Germany ties. Okay, so whenever we talk about India-Europe relations, जब हम India-Europe relations की बात करते हैं, so primarily we talk about like few countries, and one of them is Germany. Okay, so Germany एक major power है with which we are enjoying the equation. Okay, as Germany is said to be the industrial powerhouse of Europe. It is the industrial powerhouse of Europe. Okay, so this is the important point you have to understand. So right now they are saying that like Indian Prime Minister was on visit to Germany, and he has made some of the statements. One of the statement he made was regarding the Ukraine. Okay, so he said that no one is a victor in this particular war. ये जो यूक्रेन वॉर चल रहा है उसमें कोई भी नहीं जीता है. ओके, एंड ही अगेन like gave the message that peace should be restored as early as possible. जितना जल्दी हो सके शांति को आप रिस्टोर कीजिए. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट ही सेड. सो इट वाज टेकन अप इन दिस वे. उसको इंटरप्रेट इस तरीके से किया गया दैट ही डिड मेड सम डिफरेंसेस इन India's stance. Okay, because we were saying that no one is a like victor in the Ukraine Russia war. कोई नहीं जीत रहा है. Okay, so it means that we were not supporting Russians either. भी Russians जो है victory claim करेंगे यहाँ पे, हम उस चीज़ को support नहीं करते हैं, because humanity is losing here. Okay, humanity lose कर रही है. So here these were the things that are there. So whenever you talk about these particular situation, there are some, you can say, concerns that were raised by the European countries, specifically the Germany. They said that India has remained absent in United Nations voting. Okay, because those votings were criticizing the Russian stance, and we know that Russia is having good equation with Russia. Russia-India ties, we are good friends, so we cannot go there and outrightly criticize you can say, the Russians here, okay, because we are guided by our own national interest, हमारे खुद के national interest है, and we are guided by that, as simple as that. So this is the basic point that you have to understand. Now India's absenteeism, this is one point, okay, it has raised some few hackles in Germany, बिल्कुल लोगों को पसंद नहीं आया, and same was the case with Germany. But you need to understand there are some signs that are appearing. Germany is also trying to come out with some Indo-Pacific guidelines, specifically to counter the assertive China. How to carry out your trade, how to carry out your mobility in waters, those things are to be decided, because China जबरदस्ती South China Sea में अपने rules impose कर रहा है. Okay, so Germany is here emphasizing about these things. Next, it is saying that we may be having some differences. China factor is definitely one there, okay. We may be having some differences in dealing with your neighborhood. Specifically, you talk about Myanmar. Now, India is not intervening. We are guided by the pragmatism, okay. हम pragmatism से चल रहे हैं. We are going to maintain our ties with even the military government in Myanmar. European countries, they are criticizing Myanmar, okay. So India is not on their board and India is not criticizing Myanmar. हम नहीं कर रहे हैं वहाँ की military government को criticize. We are very much guided by the pragmatism. भाई जो भी है हमने उसके साथ मिलके काम करना है. That's the important point here. Okay, so further, India and Germany definitely they have a strong binding code of democracy. तो democratic values बिल्कुल उसकी जो है एक तरीके से हम respect करते हैं. India is the biggest democracy in the world. But these European countries they have raised some concerns regarding the human rights violation. Okay, तो ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन को लेके दीज कंट्रीज दे हैव सम कंसर्न्स कि इंडिया में ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन हो रहा है, स्पेसिफिकली द कम्युनलिज्म, ओके, कम्युनलिज्म को लेके, रिलीजियस इंटॉलरेंस को लेके दीज कंट्रीज दे हैव सम कंसर्न्स. So all these points are being raised by them, okay. So these are the issues that we have to work upon. ये सारे issues को हमें ठीक करना है. And definitely, like on Ukraine, Russia, the statement made by the Indian Prime Minister that peace should be restored and no one is going to be a winner in this particular war. कोई भी winner नहीं होगा इस war में, okay. So this is the message that we have given, that outrightly we are not liking what Russians are doing. But there are some concerns. Definitely, we are getting lot of oil from Russia. आज की डेट में रशिया से आप oil लेके आ रहे हो. Earlier we used to get say 33,000 barrel per day. पहले 33,000 barrel per day होता था, okay. Right now our import has been increased to 7 lakh barrel per day. वो 7 lakh barrel per day हो गया है, okay. So this is the present situation right now, because we are getting the Russian oil at subsidized discounted price. हमें subsidized और discounted price पे मिल रहा है. This is the reason we are still, you can say, buying oil from Russia. But this has not gone well with these particular countries, as they are saying that the sanctions on Russia will not be that effective, and it is very true. भाई इंडिया अगर oil खरीदता रहेगा तो ये कंट्रीज कितने मर्जी सैंक्शन लगा लें, उसका असर कुछ भी नहीं होगा. रशिया विल नॉट फियर द प्रेशर. रशिया के ऊपर कोई भी प्रेशर इस चीज का नजर नहीं आएगा, ठीक है ना. सो दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. दैट्स व्हाई European countries along with Germany they want India's support, specifically in criticizing Russia. So which is not going to happen, okay. So these are the concerns that are there. ये सारी चीजें हैं जो यहाँ पे exist कर रही हैं, ठीक है ना. We have to still wait and watch how things will move again, चीज़ें कैसे आगे बढ़ेंगी. बट डेफिनेटली वी शुड बी गाइडेड बाय आवर ओन नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, ओके. वी शुड बी क्लियर अबाउट दीज पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट्स. हमें एक चीज़ को लेके क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि इंडियाज नेशनल इंटरेस्ट इज सुप्रीम. हमें हमारा नेशनल इंटरेस्ट सबसे ऊपर है, ओके. सो दिस इज द इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. दिस इज द इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो ये चीज़ जो है ये हमें यहाँ पे थोड़ी समझनी होगी. नाउ like let's move to the next particular editorial, okay. So here we have next editorial which is talking about why the COVID-19 numbers matter, why it is important that we need to have right number, and who is right, whether WHO is right or what India's number are there, what your government is reporting, that is right, okay. So government has reported nearly say 5 lakh deaths, but WHO is saying the number is 5 million, nearly 50 lakh deaths. ओके, सो देयर इज अ डिफरेंस ऑफ 10 टाइम्स, 10 टाइम्स का डिफरेंस है. That's the significant thing here. Okay, so earlier as well there were few things that were said that in India the deaths were underreported. पहले भी ऐसा बोला गया था कि इंडिया के अंदर डेथ्स जो हैं वो अंडर रिपोर्टिंग हो रही है. ओके, now if we are under reporting things, it means that we will not be preparing for the future problems that we are going to face. जो फ्यूचर में इस टाइप की प्रॉब्लम आनी है हम उसके लिए कभी भी प्रिपेयर नहीं होंगे, बिकॉज वी विल नेवर वर्क अपॉन इम्प्रूविंग आवर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. हम अपने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को इम्प्रूव करने पे ध्यान ही नहीं देंगे. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, दैट्स व्हाई विल से दैट लाइक वी नीड टू हैव द राइट डेटा. व्हाट इज द राइट डेटा? सही डेटा अगर आपके पास होगा देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू मेक द राइट पॉलिसी. Right data will help you in making the right policy, making the right decisions regarding how to handle these particular crisis like situations in future. कि भविष्य में किस टाइप से आप इन situations को डील करोगे, ये चीज आपको समझ में आनी जरूरी है. ओके, बट इफ वी आर अंडर रिपोर्टिंग थिंग्स, डेफिनेटली इट मीन्स दैट वी आर नॉट, यू कैन से, वोकन अप येट. हम अभी भी सो रहे हैं और अभी भी खड़े नहीं हुए हैं. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है. ओके, सो द डिफरेंस ऑफ 10 टाइम्स, अगर ये 10 टाइम्स वाला सही है, what WHO is saying is right, then things are really very alarming for us. Okay, वो हमारे लिए वाकई बहुत खतरनाक चीज है. So this is the important point. This is the important point that you should know. This is the important point that you should know. Okay, so we need to have clarity over these developments that are there. इन चीज़ों को लेके हमें बिल्कुल clarity होनी चाहिए. What exactly is the situation right now? So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So this is the news that is there. Okay, so other news is regarding the importance of immigrants. Now you need to understand, UPSC can ask question in GS paper 2 regarding the Indian diaspora. So Indian diaspora के ऊपर सवाल बना सकते हैं that how good is Indian diaspora, where they are located, etc etc. So one thing you need to understand, as Indians are moving out, okay, जो हमारे यहाँ के immigrants हैं, they are moving out. They do send remittances. उनके परिवार, उनकी families इंडिया में रहती हैं. They work in other areas, other countries, okay, and they do send money to them. अपनी family को वो पैसा भेजते हैं. So it is also one of the major, you can say, forex reserve source. आपके पास foreign exchange आता है वहाँ से, okay, डॉलर में पैसा आएगा और आगे आप रुपी में दोगे, तो फोरेक्स रिजर्व के लिए फोरेक्स एक्सचेंज जो है आपके पास अच्छा खासा आता है फ्रॉम दीज पर्टिकुलर, यू कैन से, कंट्रीज. नाउ वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग. दिस एडिटोरियल इज सेइंग दैट, like if you look into the total numbers that are reported, okay, as per the Ministry of External Affairs website, there are nearly 13.4 million NRIs who are located worldwide. अब ये तो सिर्फ NRIs हैं. इट मीन्स दैट 1.3 करोड़, इट इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट नंबर, काफी बड़ा नंबर है. 64% ऑफ देम आर लिविंग इन GCC कंट्रीज. ओके, GCC कंट्रीज में 64% रह रहे हैं, मीन्स प्राइमरीली इन दिस पार्ट. These are the GCC countries: Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman. So 64% of Indians are living in this particular area, and they also send more money to the people, okay, to the families. So in all, it is reported that in 2021, 87 billion, this was the amount that was sent as remittances. ये पैसा इंडिया के अंदर भेजा गया है, okay, as remittances means they are sending money. 87 billion, इतना अराउंड पैसा यहाँ पे भेजा गया है. But the point is this, out of this 87, nearly 58 billion dollars is coming from GCC countries, यानी वेस्ट एशिया के कंट्रीज से पैसा आ रहा है. This is how it is. So you need to understand the overall profile of Indian migrants who are there. Okay, so people who are working in these GCC countries, they are working in low and semi-skilled work. They are working in low and semi-skilled work. They are not that educated. वो इतने पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं, वो इस फील्ड में काम करते हैं. Okay, so this is what we need to know. इस चीज को लेके हमें एक चीज मालूम होनी चाहिए, ठीक है ना? This is one thing. There are other destinations that are there, UK, Australia, Canada, US. Like people who are going to this particular country, they are having high skills. उनके पास high skills हैं. So these are the things that we need to know. Now, as per the World Bank report, annual remittances transferred to India are estimated to be 87 billion, which is the highest in the world. Okay, चाइना के अंदर 53 बिलियन आता है, मैक्सिको में 53 बिलियन, लेकिन हमारा सबसे ज्यादा है, ठीक है ना. दिस इज द मेन पॉइंट. Government is also doing something to say help our नेशनल्स हु आर मूविंग आउट, जो हमारे यहाँ के लोग बाहर जा रहे हैं, उनकी हेल्प भी सरकार कर रही है, बट डेफिनेटली मोर नीड टू बी डन. सो व्हाट गवर्नमेंट इज डूइंग, गवर्नमेंट हैड इंस्टॉल्ड समथिंग कॉल्ड इंटीग्रेटेड ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेस पोर्टल कॉल्ड मदद. मदद बनाया था 2015 में, ओके, टू हेल्प द पीपल विद देयर ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल. जो भी उनको प्रॉब्लम है वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं हमारी सरकार. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. ओके, right now there are some things that are proposed. So a new immigration bill has been proposed which aims to integrate the immigration management and streamline the welfare of immigrant workers. तो एक बिल प्रपोज हुआ है. ओके, द बिल proposes to modify the system of immigration check required, ECR बोलते हैं, ठीक है ना, immigration check required, specifically for workers who are applying for 18 notified countries. जो बाकी जगहों पे अप्लाई कर रहे हैं उनके लिए इमिग्रेशन चेक रिक्वायरमेंट की कुछ एक जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं उसको मॉडिफाई किया गया है. ओके, सो दिस ECR कैटेगरी मेनली कंप्राइज दोज हु हैव नॉट पास्ड क्लास 10th एंड फेस द चैलेंज ऑफ रिस्की इनफॉर्मल इमिग्रेशन. उनके लिए सिचुएशन थोड़ी इंप्रूव कर दी गई है. ओके, सो बिल मेक्स इट मैंडेटरी फॉर ऑल कैटेगरी ऑफ वर्कर्स टू रजिस्टर बिफोर डिपार्चर, कि भी इंडिया से निकलने से पहले वो यहाँ पे रजिस्टर करें. ओके, देयर विल बी अ इमिग्रेशन मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी which will be looking into the overall management की पॉलिसी कैसे इंप्लीमेंट हो रही है, वो सारी चीजें यहाँ पे की जाएंगी. So this immigration management authority, it will also be existing. So in this way we are trying to improve the system. Okay, in this way we are trying to improve the system. We are trying to facilitate people who are moving out. उनको हम facilitate कर रहे हैं. So this is the point you have to understand. Okay, other than that there is nothing much. Here as well there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so we are directly moving to next news item, that is this statement by Indian Chief of the Army Staff. So he's saying that China's intent is to keep boundary issue alive. Definitely this is what is appearing. बिल्कुल ये हमें appear लगता है, बिल्कुल सही बात है, because China is not serious about resolving this border dispute. That's the point which is there. And further, your Chief of Army Staff is saying that this Ukraine-Russia war, okay, it has given some lessons to us. So Ukraine-Russia war जो है इसके कुछ एक lesson है. One of the lesson is this: war can get long. Okay, war can get long because earlier people were saying that कि war आज की डेट के बहुत छोटे war होंगे, air warfare होगा. But this is showing that no, it cannot be like that. War can get long, war prolong भी हो सकता है. It means that you need to maintain your supply lines in that scenario. उस सिनेरियो में आपकी सप्लाई लाइंस जो हैं वो अच्छी होनी चाहिए. You have to be आत्मनिर्भर, आपको आत्मनिर्भर होना चाहिए. Okay, because at the time of crisis, if you are importing arms, आपके पास इतना टाइम नहीं होता कि आप उसे इंपोर्ट करोगे. You need to have the domestic capacity, domestic capability to manufacture them. Okay, this is what is required. वो required है आज की डेट में. So ये चीज समझनी जरूरी है. So this is what your Chief of the Army Staff is saying. Okay, we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या है. So here Indian Prime Minister and Chief Justice of India, they agree on outdated law. See, yesterday I told you about this thing, that when you talk about justice, okay, one is the substantive justice. Okay, now substantive justice is like having laws with which are just, उस तरीके के कानून होना जो कि जस्टिस को करते हो. ओके, दिस इज वन पॉइंट. अदर इज प्रोसीजरल जस्टिस, अदर इज प्रोसीजरल जस्टिस. नाउ यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, इफ वी आर स्टिल यूजिंग द आर्काइक लॉ, अगर आप पुराने कानून यूज कर रहे हो, ओके, इट मीन्स दैट those particular laws may not be able to provide justice in the present time. अगर आप कोई colonial law use कर रहे हो, ओके अगर आप कोई कॉलोनियल लॉ यूज कर रहे हो देन देर आर चांसेस दैट इट मे नॉट बी एबल टू प्रोवाइड जस्टिस. ओके वो पुराना कानून हो सकता है. सो वी हैव मल्टीपल एग्जांपल्स. सेडिशन आपके सामने एक एग्जांपल है. ओके that how the sedition is still existing and is problematic. Other thing is regarding the procedural justice. It's regarding this point whether the procedures are being followed adequately or not. क्या सही तरीके से प्रोसीजर फॉलो हुआ है कि नहीं. क्या ऐसा तो नहीं है कि पुलिस जो प्रोसीजर फॉलो करना चाहिए था सेडिशन के मामले में वो ढंग से फॉलो नहीं कर रही है. ओके एंड देर इज फॉल्स इम्प्लीकेशन, देर इज हरासमेंट. So this is also you have to understand. That's why it is equally important that we improve your legal system. आप अपने कानून को अपडेट करो. That's the important point here. You have to update your laws. Okay. Other than that, there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं है वहाँ पे. So we'll move to the next part now. आगे चलते हैं. So here Russian envoy gives special message. So the special message is regarding few things. Okay, so it is saying that the whole world should not get, you can say, blinded by the western agenda कि western agenda के साथ वो जो है दुनिया ना जुड़े. This is what they are saying. They are further criticizing the NATO को criticize कर रहे हैं, precisely the United States. Okay, so all this has been said by the Russian envoy. Definitely there are few messages for us as well. They do, you can say, like recognize what India has done. Okay, वो बिल्कुल इसको recognize कर रहे हैं that India has still maintained its autonomous policy कि आज की डेट में भी हम अपनी पॉलिसी को autonomous maintain करके चल रहे हैं. Okay, they are recognizing it. So this is the important thing. This is the important thing. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देर इज नथिंग मच. कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. ओके अंडमान टू गेट गैस बेस्ड पावर प्लांट्स. अंडमान के अंदर भी अब इन्वेस्टमेंट शुरू हो जाएगा. लाइक एनवायरमेंट मिनिस्ट्री हैज अप्रूव्ड द एग्जेम्पशन टू द लॉज गवर्निंग रेगुलेशन ऑफ कोस्टल जोन. ओके अब बड़े बड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वहाँ पे बनेंगे. दिस इज हाउ इट इज. बट दिस इज द डिबेट. यू नीड टू प्रोवाइड डेवलपमेंट इन दैट पार्ट एज वेल. वहाँ पे भी डेवलपमेंट आपको प्रोवाइड करनी है, इंडस्ट्री आपको लगानी है. ओके सो टू प्रोवाइड दैट डेफिनेटली दिस गैस पावर प्लांट इज गोइंग टू बी अ बिग हेल्प. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. आगे चलते हैं. सो रशिया इज डिफेंडिंग द मदरलैंड. दिस इज व्हाट पुतिन इज सेइंग. ओके दे आर क्लियर अबाउट देयर आइडियाज. सो दे आर सेइंग दैट बिकॉज यूक्रेन वाज फॉलिंग इन द हैंड्स ऑफ NATO and this could not have been tolerated and that's why they went ahead with the invasion of NATO. Okay, this is the reason that they are giving. So ये सारी बात वो कह रहे हैं that they are primarily acting for their national interest. This is what it is. Okay, this is what it is. So ये सारी चीज़ें हैं यहाँ पे. Like government said to urge Reserve Bank to help push bond yield lower. Okay, so all these things are, you can say, going on. So this is what we have in today's session. Okay, this is what we have in today's session. So NTPC invites bid to import 4.3 million tons of coal. So अब हम import भी अच्छा खासा कर रहे हैं. This is the requirement. Okay, this is the requirement because as the demand for energy is peaking, बिल्कुल ये demand और भी increase होगी आने वाले टाइम में because अभी जून का महीना तो आया ही नहीं है. ठीक है ना, अभी तो सिर्फ मई चल रहा है. द डिमांड फॉर पावर इज फर्दर गोइंग टू इंक्रीज. दिस इज व्हाट इट इज देयर. ओके दिस इज व्हाट इट इज देयर. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव इन टुडेज सेशन. सो दैट्स इट फॉर द डे देन. थैंक यू वेरी मच.